Yeah, there we are.
All right, good evening, everybody. We're going to go ahead and call the commissioners' meeting to order. Everybody, please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, it's Wednesday, July 16, 2025. We're going to open the meeting with public comments. Does anybody have anything that they would like to say that's not on the agenda? We can't vote on it, but we can take it under advice.
I'll just let you know that the search for a new River Hills director has begun. We've gotten 34 applications.
Wow.
As of last week, we still have another week or two to go. But the executive committee has looked at those, and we're going to try to make that process go as quickly as we can.
Okay. Well, thank you for keeping us updated on that. Does anybody else have anything? No? All right. And we're going to go ahead and close that part of the meeting. First item on the agenda is Southern Indiana. John, is it Lannis?
Laws.
Laws? All right.
Yep.
Thank you.
I don't think so.
Thank you.
Thank you as well there. Thank you for giving the full time. Matt, feel free to pop up here, Chairman, if you don't mind, and we'll kind of co-present. We'll be quick. This is part of our quarterly kind of update to come back and let you know how things are going. Before I get going, obviously Chris Wakeman's here. We've got some highlights and kind of ways that we're collaborating and leveraging that, but just a thank you to Chris to helping to get us on the agenda and kind of the ongoing support and kind of resourcing that he's offering. So I'll try to be brief, but you guys have met me before, so we've tried to consolidate some high-level information that we just wanted to kind of relay, but feel free to jump in and answer any questions. The document you got is just kind of the quarterly report kind of format we're following. I always like to kind of start off just by saying, our focus is really around business attraction, retention, and expansion. But how you get to that, right, are lots of different strategies and resources. So from small business to outreach, marketing, advocacy, it all kind of rolls up trying to get to attraction, retention, and expansion. The second note there, I just, again, sometimes like to embed a little bit of community information or an update. This shows the hourly average wages for kind of the 5 counties kind of here in our area and kind of where you are. I threw in your last year's average wage, so you'll see that you ticked up about 80 cents per hour in the county. Just as a reminder, that average county wage is one of the metrics that we utilize in the state. Even more so today than the previous administration is really being strict around really not supporting, rolling out the red carpet, so to speak, for companies that are not increasing that hourly average wage. And to be frank, they're not super impressed with projects a nickel over it either. They really have prioritized high wage jobs in the community. So just as a frame of reference, that's kind of where you guys are. And then I sometimes throw in some different kind of wages up at the top for the region, just so you've kind of got some context of kind of where our target is and where we're going. The next page is kind of the more standard kind of updates, and this is where we'll kind of hang for a minute and just share some general updates. So since January 2025, we have submitted Scott County properties in 13 RFIs, or requests for information, where we're proposing property, building sites. Of those 13, 8 of them had dual locations in Scott County. So 8 of those projects had more than one option within Scott County that was presented. On the other side of this is kind of the business retention expansion, and I'll let Matt kind of give an update on the work happening there.
Sure. So as you can see, we've had 14 visits to companies here in Scott County since January. We have worked with the Indiana Economic Development Corporation on what we call a BRE Day, and we did one in Scott County in March. We're working on with them to put another one together in Scott County. And what we do on those visits, BRE stands for Business Retention Expansion. We go in and basically ask companies 3 questions. How's business? Do you have any impediments to doing business? And do you have any plans to expand or grow? And whatever their answers are to those three questions, that becomes our work agenda. It seems pretty simple, but it's a work for us because we've been able to uncover companies that maybe, even if they weren't doing an expansion, maybe they've got an obstacle that we can help them with, or a resource that we can introduce them to that will hopefully get them over a hump or get them through a period. So I'm really excited that the state's willing to come back and do that in Scott County again. We've also been working with our good friend Chris Wakeman on identifying companies that he and I can go in, and we've already done that, gone in and met with companies and sort of, again, if nothing else, familiarize ourselves with the company and let them become familiar with what services that we offer.
In addition to that, you'll see on here, Conco is, in the midst of, obviously they're hiring, building renovations, new equipment from the phase 2 coming in. We'll continue to kind of keep you abreast there. But as you know, they're a full-time supplier to the Department of Defense, and there is some movement and some interest in having a kind of more of a celebration there in partnership with the federal government. So we are working kind of closely with them on kind of dates and details, but we'll continue to kind of keep you abreast. We're kind of targeting August or November, but they're really going to drive the date based on availability. But we'll continue to keep you updated as those conversations go. I think one of the other things that I wanted to note, and we've even talked a little bit in the audience, is just obviously we've got a new administration with Governor Braun. They are taking a kind of a different approach to how they support local communities and kind of really assessing their services and how they work with locals. I would say that, we were able to host, and Steve was there with us, I believe, but we hosted Secretary Adams from the Commerce Department in a few months ago. I think he was authentically impressed with kind of the collaboration and the impact that we're having. I think he's hearing that from other conversations that he's having. And so they are interested in kind of how we do our work. And so we are providing them and being a resource as they kind of look at the landscape and how to operate. So to that point, one of the documents that we prepared for them, I put in the back. It's this one right here. I thought it might, it's actually not stapled. It should be a separate, I think it's right here. So we prepared this and are kind of providing this as a resource and kind of how we operate as kind of a best practice. And so since we had this together, I thought it might just be a nice document to offer to you guys just to kind of see a little more technically and concisely kind of how we are structured and then what those services look like. And so again, without kind of, talking you through the entire list, I would just say, our Chamber of Commerce services up at the top are specifically focused in Clark and Floyd. So you don't see us doing a lot of member recruitment and events or really anything here. We collaborate with the Scott County Chamber and Kelly often. The next one, a couple ones I'll just kind of point out. The PIMS Administrator, this is the state contracting database. So this is where we enter the data and the information based on local support and information so that we're all looking at kind of the same documents. It's also the trigger point for companies to be able to sign contracts and agreements with the state for any potential incentive support. So we are the administrator of that in Clark, Floyd, and Scott County. More of a technical role, nothing that's going in there that you haven't authorized or approved. It's really the back end administration. Next is Zoom Prospector. This is the state's sites and buildings database. I know I've probably mentioned this before, but I would employ all of you to consider kind of playing around on our site, but you can go to the Scott County Zoom Prospector. That's where all of the sites and buildings are. As you go to those individual sites, those are not automatically compiled from MLS listings. Those are manually entered by our team. And then what I think you would notice is we start to complement that with drone footage, engineering surveys, quality of life information, so that every time we submit a site, they get obviously the utility and the kind of geographical information, but along with that, they get a suite of materials that put that site or that opportunity in context. So always looking for new product and sites to put on there. So again, as you guys have conversations, if you know of good, more industrial based, don't have a lot of retail in there, but primarily our focus are those primary jobs. So look at it, check it out. If you got questions, great. If you got other things you'd like for us to add in there, that's a great resource to market your community.
And I would add to that, we feed that, we put that in Zoom Prospector, but that also feeds the state's database. So anybody that's looking at the state of Indiana, they'll have an opportunity to look at property in Scott County, and it's because of what we feed that system.
So maybe the last one I'd really kind of note on here is the RFI project management lead for IEDC. So when those projects come in, we obviously respond to those, but it's important to recognize we do that in concert. And Greg, you used to get a lot of those phone calls. We'd get an opportunity to say, hey, here's the scope, here's the recommendation, here's some concerns, and then we decide whether or not to submit. And then really we kind of carry that forward with all the utility and workforce information that goes along with submitting that project. But that RFI project management lead, again, is just that central point of contact for the IEDC. The other things, again, hopefully none of these are shockers. They're all things that we've kind of reported on and talked about. But I, again, thought this kind of nicely and concisely articulated some of the core functions and services that kind of come with our work.
And something I failed to mention, sorry, that picture that you see there on slide 3, we actually arranged and hosted Seema Seth, who is the Senior Vice President and Regional Executive for the Louisville branch of the St. Louis Federal Reserve. She reached out to our office and said she'd like to visit some businesses in our area. So we took and had a great visit to Genpact. That's Seema and Jeff Hebert there in that photograph. But they've also asked us, they're thinking about doing another visit.
I'll move down to kind of some of the regional marketing stuff. Again, these are all hopefully names and groups that you're familiar with from some of our reporting. I would just note with the South Central Indiana group, we continue to kind of leverage regionalism. I say it's marketing's hard, right? It's expensive to do these things. And so we really benefit from some of these regional aspects that enable our dollars to frankly go further. I will head back to Japan in September with this group as a delegation from Indiana. While there, we meet with our existing employers to thank them for their investment. Again, try to find out if there are opportunities or strategic growth opportunities. My first visit was a couple of years ago, and excited that we had a couple of announcements kind of following that. So it's important to nurture those existing relationships, particularly in some of these other cultures. But then while we're there, we also meet with prospective companies and investments, particularly in our kind of target industries. The Greater Louisville Regional Partnership and then Louisville Economic Development Alliance, we're partnering with both of them in the coming months, where again, we'll bring in 6 to 10 national site consultants that will come in town, and then we'll have an opportunity to educate them about our community and maybe allow them to have a little bit of fun at Bourbon and Beyond Music Festival. So again, just ways that we leverage our dollars, recognize that a lot of the consultants and the companies are looking at us at kind of a geographical macro level. I say we market globally and then compete locally, but these are just opportunities for us to do that. I won't do too much on the Rebecca Tech Hub other than that we were just named a finalist for a large federal tech hub designation. That is a large federal grant opportunity that we have approached in partnership with the University of Louisville. In that submission, I was really excited that we were able to include letters from both Governor Beshear and Secretary Adams from Indiana, again, showing kind of a bi-state opportunity within the renewable energy sector to attract companies, develop workforce, and create innovation opportunities within a new tech hub designation. The IDA childcare project I mentioned last time, if you didn't get an opportunity to see the video, it came out about a month and a half ago. It was Extol's Southern Indiana live broadcast, but it's a 30-minute episode all around the state of childcare in Southern Indiana. Scott County was prominently featured both in the evaluation and the survey, the data materials that were collected, but then also through the recording process, they came out to Scott County and highlighted the YMCA's project. So if you haven't checked it out, we're happy to send it as a follow-up link, but a great kind of video really looking at some of the barriers, but also the opportunities and some of the good things that are happening around the childcare space throughout the region.
Yeah, please send that if you don't mind.
Yes.
Mr. Connor did a good job getting that set up.
The last one is Metro Manufacturing Alliance. Again, this is our Trojan horse to stay really close to manufacturers so we can remove barriers and accelerate growth. I would just note that at the end of September, we'll have like our 10th annual manufacturing week where we will close down the NOCO Arts District. We'll have 800 to 1,000 students from around the region. I would note 2 years ago, Scottsburg had the largest showing at that. They had 115 students show up. Last year, we had Austin participate. So again, we'll continue to partner and engage and invite them to participate in our manufacturing activities as well. I mentioned livability, that you got the magazine in there. The first edition of that covered Clark and Floyd, recognizing we don't kind of do the chamber services here. It was met favorably by you guys and also Chris. And so we did get the agreement that they will include Scott County in our next publication. So we are now reviewing all the draft content, and we expect the new publication to be out in September, October. So next time I come, I'll bring a box of them. But it'll be a nice, very different than a tourism magazine. This is really about the long-term benefits of living in the community. So you see much more about wages, neighborhoods, quality of life, entrepreneurial ecosystem, not just kind of go to Huber's and get a tasting or go to this restaurant. It's really more about the long-term benefit. And then truly the last thing that I'll mention is just the corridor. I think I brought this to your attention last time around a branding opportunity. The corridor is a tongue-in-cheek kind of coined off the term corridor. The 4 R's in the corridor, the rivers, rails, roads, and runways. Again, just trying to develop a professional marketing brand that I think meets the quality of the sites and the buildings and the staff that we have, but also speaks to some of the reshoring and some of the types of projects that we think that our region is well positioned for. And the corridor and that kind of intersection of all of these infrastructure assets provide a pretty long-term benefit that we think we can harness through this new kind of branding opportunity. So I'll take a breath. Happy to answer any questions, but again, always encourage you to reach out directly to have a conversation as well.
Are you seeing a lot of movement in companies' growth in the region?
Yeah, you know, I would say over the past couple of months, we have had I'd say it's been pretty busy the past 3 years, to be frank. But we have seen in the past couple of months a tick up in project leads kind of coming in. And I would say that I've seen more foreign direct investment kind of opportunities on there as well. So yes, I mean, I think that's a short way of saying yes, but decisions take time, but definitely the top of the funnel is still seeing pretty robust, activity.
Yeah.
I was through River Ridge today and seeing the Meta building is still being worked on and getting up. So massive facility.
Yes.
It is.
Yep. It certainly is.
We've got a lot of industry down there. I mean, it's, I'm hoping at some point, we'll have some, kind of some flow over, whether it's warehousing or some kind of need that we can piggyback off some of what's going on down there because there's a lot, right? I mean, so keep our fingers crossed.
No, absolutely. Yeah, like I said, we're bullish. Speed to market is the new incentive, I would say. And so, some assets are more prepared for kind of shovel readiness and, less unknowns in terms of developing a property. So, continue to kind of try to prioritize that and try to support, some of that work being done. But, speed to market kind of matters and site readiness. So, just kind of keep that in mind, right? A lot of priorities, scarce resources, but those things do kind of help to move a site up the kind of attractiveness kind of ladder in terms of what do we know about the site, what utilities are available all the way to, are they all the way to the site ready to be plugged in, right?
Which
so
we've done.
Yeah.
We have invested
Yeah.
in.
You've done a lot of work on that.
Yeah. So we've got a little over 70 developable acres. So spending money in surveys, geotech, wetland work. So we've made some significant investments so we can pass that off and show what utilities could be available.
So that'll pay off because it'll put you ahead of
Yeah.
those who aren't investing.
Yeah.
So.
So, but yeah. And like you said earlier, John, yeah, we've had some calls, but some of the things haven't been real attractive for us to pay off, especially when we have limited assets and we got to really work to make sure we're getting the bang for our buck. So
That's smart.
So,
Yep.
but yeah, thank you guys.
Okay. Really appreciate the job you're doing for us.
Well, again, if no more questions, just to kind of thank you again for the kind of continued support. We'll continue to come back and give you some updates, but I sincerely mean that. Nothing too big or too small. Feel free to call anytime to kind of talk through any questions or strategy or anything like that. Those are things we enjoy doing. So
Thank you very much for coming
Appreciate
and giving us the rundown.
what's that?
Thank you very much for coming.
No, pleasure.
All right. Next item on the agenda is sealed bids for 110 South Second Street, which is our church.
Do you need a opener?
How many did we get?
Two, wasn't it?
We got two, yeah. It looks like, I don't think she printed off the,
When did we approve that?
would you like?
When did we approve
I think we had one off
Oh.
today. We should probably do that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it was last year.
Oh, last year?
Totally positive.
What's that?
When did we, was it last year? Did y'all approve to advertise for bids, sale bids? Or was it recent?
It was recent on the seal, on the, on the
I don't
seal.
recall, so that's why I was asking.
Could have been last, this has been going on forever.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I know we talked about it a few weeks ago, but,
Because the engineering study was done, what, a few weeks ago, I think.
there's on the church building.
I thought so. I thought that's what the engineering.
I think it's a design
Yeah.
build is. The way I recall, I'm pretty sure that was in December 2024.
Oh, well,
I mean, it's been, it's been an ongoing thing.
I'm sorry. We had two of these turned in and one was sent in today and it's being printed off right now.
Just wait until we get it.
Yeah. So the first one we're going to open up here is from Temple and Temple. Total bid amount based on scope of work is $324,500. Was that with the concrete floor?
Wood floor.
That's wood floor.
Yes, sir.
Did you reached out to him about the concrete floor?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you have a chance to think about the concrete floor?
Really, the first I heard about it was today.
Oh, okay. Did you talk
But I
to
don't know who,
Patrick? Or?
was it Patrick?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So their bid without concrete is $324,500 from Temple and Temple.
Can you say that number again? I'm sorry.
$324,500.
Thank you.
All right, this next one is from High Day This is with concrete. And it comes in at $339,755. There's two options that's with it. If we want grade correction and landscaping, they said they'll do that for $5,000. And there's option 2, installation of snow block rail on existing metal roof. If we want that, that would be an additional $6,100. All right, so great, Kevin, you advertised for us and it went, did anybody return anything to you?
It's come to the auditor's office. Your advertisement came to the auditor's office.
Okay, anybody else?
That was the only two.
That's the only 2 bids we had. Okay,
And I think,
and today was the closing.
yeah, and I think both of those came in today.
Okay. Do you have any comments or questions?
When did you advertise it?
Let me-
You guys pull up your, legal
I'll go look.
thing, we'll tell you all the dates.
And the scope, did it have concrete floors in it or was it wood?
We originally started off with wood and then, we kind of just decided that there's going to be so much work there in the wood.
Yeah. But
That
in the scope, it was wood.
we would be better off to go with concrete.
Okay.
Which I contacted, or they contacted us and talked to us. And then Greg reached out to Patrick Hauser, I guess, and asked for it to be put in that bid. So
It didn't make it.
didn't make it. Yeah. I think unless we have any other bids, we can take this under advisement and vote on it for the next commissioner meeting.
Yeah. If that's all we got, that's all we got.
Yeah, I don't know, but what'd she say when she got it? Is she gonna check?
Well, the thing with me is like the scope of work was submitted for wood floors and reaching out after the fact, like if we need to resubmit for the right scope, I don't want any confusion or anything like that coming back on us, like changing the rules after the fact, right? Or changing the scope, not in official capacity. But I would defer to Zach on that too.
What are you saying?
Like submitted the bids.
I think it's considered, as long as they comply with specifications.
Yeah.
As advertised for, I don't think that you can necessarily change the scope of the work required or requested and exclude somebody because they didn't submit, for instance, like a concrete-based solution. The statute says, in determining whether a bidder is responsive, the board may consider the following factors: whether the bidder has submitted a bid or quote that conforms in all material respects to the specifications. Specifications would have been and what was advertised, regardless of whether there was a discussion after the fact. Whether the bidder has submitted a bid that complies specifically with the invitation to bid and the instructions to bidders. Whether the bidder has complied with all applicable statutes, ordinances, resolutions, and rules pertaining to the award of a public contract. My understanding is, and my recollection is, that there were some type of design services that were part of the request for qualifications. Is that correct?
Yeah, we put a scope.
Yeah, I was there. I'm sorry. I was reading.
But I
Yes.
mean, whoever is doing the work is going to have a qualified engineer or
That's correct.
architect perform,
That-
creating a plan.
Sorry, yeah.
Okay, all right. So all I'm saying is, I think it's probably proper to table the vote on whether or not you're going to accept either of the bids, reject all the bids, what that situation is. I think everybody needs time to review what was submitted. There's a number of factors that you're, required to consider, some that you may consider. And I would just say it's been our practice, every time that we've received a sealed public bid to table so that, we can review them. We open them in the public meeting, we read the bids aloud with the names of the companies, the amounts, and we have, I think since my tenure here, like almost always tabled it till the next meeting.
So
there's engineering services that are tied.
Okay, yeah, that's all. And look, I don't think you have to, I don't disagree with what you said. I mean, I think you have to consider whether or not, and determine whether they're responsive, whether they complied with what was advertised. Okay.
And just being fair.
Yeah. And if they're responsive, then there's other requirements for the lowest bid. Okay.
I make a motion to table.
Second.
I'll make that unanimous. All right. And this is just showing that, I'm sorry, what Jennifer went and got us was the advertisement that Kevin put out, and that it was closed. Today was the final day for it. It closed.
Thanks for submitting
Yes,
back there.
thank you for submitting. And if the High Day Company is listening, thank you for submitting also.
Absolutely, yeah, thanks for everybody. Yeah.
So we're going to move on now to the IT computer bids Frontier contract.
How is everybody?
Oh, I think we're dandy. How are you?
Good. Let's start with the Frontier contract. I'll just knock that out real quick. You want to pass them around? So if you guys remember, it's been, I think, the first week of June, we had a few days of, well, our phones were all out countywide. You remember that? Multiple hours of downtime. It was a nightmare. Frontier finally got it fixed, found out that the tap on the pole was full of water. So that was really messing it up. But he also advised that Frontier so Verizon's bought Frontier. Not sure whether they're going to merge, but copper is starting to go bye-bye. So he advised us that we should go to SIP, which is another form of telecommunications. So, and if you do drive down the road, you can see like the gray boxes with wires literally just puking out of it. That's enough. Copper is not being maintained in the county really anymore either. So I think it's time for us to move to another technology or form of phone service. So it still is with Frontier. The contract is for 3 years. And right now we're paying around $11.50 a month for our copper PRI. Moving to a SIP handoff PRI, we will be locked in at $964.77 a month. So close to $200 a month in the savings. Have a lot more uptime, better phone quality, also easier to maintain the phone lines, make adjustments, forwarding if we need to. There's a lot of benefits in going to SIP. So,
And that's no other costs?
No.
Upfront costs?
there's no upfront costs.
Okay.
And there's no penalty to get out of what we're currently in.
Nope. And plus where Frontier has our phone lines or numbers right now, it's a way easier transition moving over to this than having another company and having them port the numbers and fight all that too. So they pretty much ship the equipment. I plug it in. They send us with one phone number and I do testing on our phone system. And if that number's working and everything's beautiful, I call them and say, hey, give us the rest of our numbers. We go live and it's done.
Do you need to review this before?
What did you say this?
Really, my
stands
only
for?
question is service, we're just switching.
Session.
But not seeing the issue. with
Session initiation protocol.
Language, my only question.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the things I'm always called a SIP.
Yeah. I know what a PRI stands
Yeah.
for, but a SIP is
I mean, we're
session,
just gonna
Call manager.
session something protocol.
Go down almost $200.
I'm sorry?
Session
My question is-
something protocol.
It's a bad
Do we have
IT
the
guy.
money?
I know, I'm a bad IT
Does he
guy.
have the money in his budget? Is it in somebody else's? What's the-
Let's
Well, we're
see
paying
here.
1,100 now.
I would just clarify.
We have the money, right?
Yes, this is budgeted. Yeah, we're actually saving a couple $100 a month close to, so.
I think it's at your all's discretion, which you
Okay.
I mean, I'm.
Yeah,
thinking
upgrade
it's-
technology and more
Save
efficiency.
money.
This is a no-brainer for me.
Well, I didn't know if Zach.
Session
wanted to review the
initiation
contract.
protocol.
We're not
There we
changing
go.
providers or anything.
Nope, same provider. Like I said, they've got our DIDs, our numbers. A lot easier to transfer. We don't have to port our numbers from another, going to another company.
And it's a services contract.
Is a service.
And it's less than our current
Yep.
contract, right?
Yep.
I think it's at your all's discretion how you want to proceed.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
I'll make that unanimous.
Upgrade technology and saving money.
Yeah. Looks like page
What's the
6. No catch. No catch.
You get like free HBO for 3
No,
months?
no Disney Plus, no nothing for 3. No,
Sports channel?
no. Sorry.
Do you need
Signature on page 6.
I'll make a motion to allow Randy to sign as president.
Is there only one?
I'll second for, I guess,
I'll make-
You got one more page.
Oh, I thought you said page 6.
Yeah, 6.
Okay.
Then ours is on the right side. Thank you, guys.
Thank
Appreciate
you,
it.
Andrew. Do you have anything else?
And the bids.
Okay.
So we got 3.
3 of them.
Oh, 3 paper. Okay, so that one. So 2, maybe 3 were opened by accident. maybe.
All 3 of them, I think, because not one of them said they were some bids.
So all 3 bids were opened in the auditor's office, thinking that they were mail.
Okay.
We get a lot of deeds that come in, and if they don't write on the outside that it's a bid, we don't know.
Does the specification say to mark it as a bid?
I mean, when I talked to the vendors, giving them the information, the scope and everything, like how the bidding process works, I said, hey, make sure that you write computer bids on the front in big black letters.
Okay.
So
And I thought we talked about potential submission,
I do have an
electronic submissions with password protected.
So I reached out to another vendor. They reached out,
We were gonna separate who received the password and who
they
received
sent
it.
both to me also, and Jennifer. So,
Okay,
I mean, I'm just being honest with you guys, like,
No,
it's,
that's, we
We've
appreciate
never
that.
not known.
but like I literally have the electronic ones here and.
Let me
the
ask
password.
Andrew, did you open them?
I have no knowledge of these bids or
Okay.
no knowledge of the
Open the
electronic.
electronic bids with the passwords that they provided and tell us what the vendors are and the amounts.
Okay. Let's see. Fields for devices represented.
But you did give them instructions to send the passwords, I
Yeah.
think, to you.
I said, send the quote or send the bids to Jennifer and send the password to me. Well, earlier today, I just got the bid today and they sent the quotes to me, or the bids and the password, and also to Jennifer. So
These are IT companies.
Big ones too.
In some of those encryption things, it automatically does it,
Yeah.
but also there's ways to circumvent that.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm not making excuses, but also.
Yeah. So this one's just a password protected Excel spreadsheet. So I've got it open and I'm looking for the password now. Yeah. Bear with me.
Who's the first one we're looking at here?
Gov goods,
I'm sorry.
gov goods, government goods. Here is the passwords to the quotes. Can
It'd be really funny if it expired in an hour or two.
I mean, it's just a password that's it's an Excel protected sheet. So the password, but the password that provided me is not working. So I'm gonna make sure. Yeah,
It's not working.
the password. It says the password's incorrect. So
Okay.
Do you want me to forward you the email I got, just in case it's different?
if you want to see what I got right here, I just got the.
Oh, well, it was copied on that, so it won't matter.
So let me try to open the other one.
Not
Sales
responsible.
quotes. Password, okay. Let's see here.
Jennifer, who opened the bids? Do you know?
Stacy.
Okay.
Because a lot of times our deeds come in and sometimes if the envelopes are thicker, we question, but those look similar to the ones, like especially if it's a state that there's return envelope, they look about like that.
Okay. What happened after, she opened them?
They taped them back up and laid them on the table there.
I would just go ahead and open those right now. We're likely gonna do the same thing, which is table everything. And because there's so much
I've got into.
irregularity here, you might have to reject all bids, but
Gotcha. From GovGoods, I did get into the sales quote part of the bid, but the one that has the incorrect password shows pretty much the specifications of the devices. So it's kind of
I would just go with the paper bids at this point.
got. All right. Hypertech USA Incorporated.
You said hybrid tech? or-
Hypertech.
Should we maybe not read these if we're gonna table them in that way?
I think at this point, we've acknowledged the situation that's occurred. It's not, our fault that they weren't labeled correctly.
Go ahead and.
Go ahead and open them. Today's the date to open them. I think that we need to go ahead and open them.
Oh, okay. Let's see here.
Who's this?
Do what?
Who is this?
Hypertech Incorporated.
Hypertech?
Yeah, Hypertech. We could lay this out a little better. So it looks like, so right now we have an HP EliteBook G1A 16-inch laptop. What's the quantity? At the 50 I requested at $35,960.50. Second is a HP EliteBook G1A 14 inches.
What was the first one? HB?
Yeah. HP EliteBook G1A 16-inch. So it looks like they're the same model. One's fit the 16 inches and one's 14 inches.
Okay.
And that quantity is at 30, which is correct. And that's at $21,121.50. Then the desktops is an HP Elite small form factor. You can just put SFF 805 Gen 9. Quantity is correct. Specs look good. $115,462.50. So
How many of those?
150.
I'm gonna track you back. I'm sorry.
You're fine.
On the 16-inch laptops, how many?
50.
And then on the 14-inch, the 50 is what?
30 on the 14-inch.
30. Okay.
I'm trying to see here. Bear with me. I'm trying to find a spec on there. The next one is for the 150, another 150 of the HP Elite small form factor. Gen 9. Or is that the one we just did? I'm sorry. Hold up. There we go. Back to a laptop, 16 inches, HP EliteBook. And this is the R7.
So this is a different model?
Different model. I had them do equivalent of i5s, i7s, and the Ryzen variants. So 2 different processor types.
So this is a nicer model.
Yeah, don't know. I gotta dig through these after table and go through the specs and.
50.
So we're back at 50 for the 16 inches. That one is 40,562.
And it's 16-inch, you said?
And the next one's another HP EliteBook G1A 14 R7.
14-inch?
Yeah. Same quantities.
30?
Yep, same quantities throughout everything. 14s are gonna be 30, 16s are gonna be 50, and desktops will be 150. So we're on the 14 inches, right?
Yes.
$23,813.70. Then the next desktop's gonna be an HP Elite small form factor 805 Gen 9.
Have they given us the screen size for the desktops?
There's no monitors that come with them.
Okay.
Yeah, no monitors, no keyboard, no mouse, no nothing. Same quantity, 150, and we're at 129,348 even. And I think there's a total on both projects if you want those.
Yes, please.
The first project, the first three is 100, and they included tax, which we'll have to, that's where it's exempt, so we can take that out. So we're actually at $172,544.50.
And this is for the first.
Yep, the first three.
172.
172,544.50. They did charge 12,078 cents for tax, but of course
Right.
that's not gonna be there.
Right.
So, the second three is a 207,284.36.
I'm sorry, 272.
Or 207.
207. Okay,
Got it.
204.
That tax exempt form, it looks like just some other forms and some brochures. Yeah. Okay. And that's it for the first one. I actually have no clue who this is by yet, so I got it. Lenovo. Oh, this is a lot easier. Okay, so they have ThinkBook 16-inch, so laptops, 50 quantity, 38,250.
Even.
Yep.
Okay.
Then the ThinkBook 14 Gen 7, that'd be your 14-inch at 30 quantity. We're at 22,950. Then the desktops. So that's total 124,000. There is a typo on here on the quantity.
Typo or they just?
Typo on the quantity. So instead of 150, they've got 50. But the price is correct for 150.
Okay.
Is that okay? So 150 quantity, ThinkCenter M75 desktops, Gen 5. And we are at 124,350 even. They do have options for a warranty, an additional warranty. Do you want those prices?
What is the standard warranty that comes with it?
I would say probably 1 year manufacturer. So,
And what's their additional?
let me see here if they put it in here.
All right, let's just keep it apples to apples right now. We'll talk about warranty next time.
They all might have warranties.
Yeah.
That's what I was, yeah.
What's that little dude looking at now?
And they just did the first phase.
Yeah, so it looks like they only quoted Ryzen
Gotcha.
devices, which I guess the scope of work.
Manufacturer?
Huh?
Is that like a chip manufacturer?
Lenovo,
Ryzen?
Ryzen, yeah, AMD.
Okay.
Yeah, processors. So I can get it in there. Tracy did a good job of retaping this, I'm just saying.
She's probably panicking after she realized what she did.
Dale. Trying to see if it's just all brochures. Yeah, that's brochure. All right. Okay. So it looks like for the first set, we've got a Dell Latitude 5550. The 50, so that's going to be the 16-inch. $55,999.50. The next one will be the Dell Latitude 5450, and that'll be 14-inch. And that is at $31,499.70. Next one will be the desktops. Dell Pro Slim. They're a small form factor desktop. $134,998.50. With a total for that set, $222,497.70. And that's it from Dell.
Okay. So you're gonna read through these and, see if they're apples to apples, give us what your thoughts are.
Yep, absolutely. I want to go through them and make sure spec wise everything looks good and they compare too. So
Availability on all this. Do you have any idea?
like stock wise from
Yeah.
them, I mean, not really sure. It can change. A corporation can buy every bit of this tomorrow. You just never know. So
Do they offer services to come in and help you image and set out or swap?
yeah, they do. They can do pre-imaging, but I didn't put that in the scope of work. So, and plus every department uses a vast different software. Pre-imaging is kind of just, yeah, and I can pretty much get on them and hack them out, you know, so.
Are these, sorry, have you gone to the council to talk to them about the funding for these?
We've been back and forth a few meetings and stuff. So the last time we talked, they said, hey, we've got bids coming in. Let's see what we're probably going to need. So I'd say.
So as we sit here today, you do not have the money in your budget.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. So I think you don't have any other option but to table the bids.
Yeah.
Yes. I would like to, while we're on that subject, to bring up, I think it would be a good idea or prudent of us, because we all know the financial situation the county's in.
Mm-hmm.
I think a possibility for us would be to, since we're moving over into City Hall, and we're going to have more room, I think we need to probably get it on the agenda to talk about maybe, my idea would be to sell the veteran services building to pay for the computers and move veteran services over into City Hall building.
That way, when they do their paperwork, they can go straight here, do their deed and their homestead and their veteran exemption.
Yes.
That way they can walk or they're straight here.
Well, their deed would be over there, I guess.
Yeah, there's,
Oh, yeah, it
I
would
think
be,
likely it is.
I didn't know who's moving over. I don't think we've discussed who's going where.
Pretty much anybody that, and I'm
Non-official.
sorry, and maybe I should talk about this another time, but pretty much it's gonna be whoever does not belong to the court is going over there.
Yeah, I mean, I think too, that's
Yeah. So
it's
it'd be
part of more
one-stop shop.
planning
Yeah.
that we haven't got to, but
I was able to
But
get
Randy's
into
right.
the electronic bid.
We should
Too late
probably
though, right?
bring that
It's
up
the
in the next
same as
meeting,
those.
have a discussion.
Gov goods didn't.
Yeah, that was it.
GovGoods was
Yeah.
the electronic one. I'm actually got into
Is that
it.
all right, Jennifer?
I'm
You want me to
sorry.
read that one
The
out?
next agenda, let's bring it up in the agenda or have it put on the agenda to discuss maybe selling
Okay.
the veteran services building over by the hospital to help pay for this.
There's the specs. All right, so I'm actually into the GovGoods bid now. I'm not sure if I maybe fat fingered that too, popping that
It'd
in.
be nice if we could fast track that somehow to be able to get that, if we decide to go that route, we could sell the building before the move. Maybe you could have the computers in place over there, maybe, hopefully. That's a reach.
yeah.
That's a reach. I
Yeah.
mean, and plus, like, I don't even know what time you guys are expecting to move over there.
I think we're looking at, I don't know.
We,
Let's,
we don't even have a plan.
I
Yeah.
talked to the mayor today, but it's a soft plan and I don't really want
Yeah, like these
to
computers,
mention it because people will put plans on that. And again, it's not chiseled and stuff.
yeah, these computers really need to be in and going by mid-October. So that's how fast this project needs to move. So I don't think we're gonna be over there by mid-October.
So mid-October, we're going to be back to the stone tablets.
I mean, yeah, mid-October, we need these going. So we can continue to run the current computers. We have it at $61 per pop for an extended year too. So that is a option. We're just not, if this doesn't happen, we're not sitting there unsecure or just waiting. So
But we're looking at $61 per computer.
per computer,
And we have
I've calculated it's like around $12,000,
80.
For end of life support.
just an extra year.
So
For
for 230
extra support. Gotta
230
love,
computers,
gotta love that.
right?
Do what, I'm
You
sorry,
say $61
$61 per pop,
for 230 times 230.
which
That's how many units we got, right? That we would need 230.
we do have a handful of computers that is currently running Windows 11 and is update. So that 12,000 I'm getting around there is when I did the last count of my inventory, computers that were not running Windows 11. So,
And we're gonna have to probably gut and rewire City Hall with all the old.
oh yeah,
Cat 2, Cat 3.
that infrastructure has to be completely redone.
That's an
Yeah.
entirely,
Yeah.
another meeting.
So new computers probably couldn't even run on that infrastructure.
So
They
we're,
could, but
Yeah.
just so we know about what we're talking about, it's $14,030 just to get them to go for another year.
yeah. But my count was 12 with devices that are out of date, so
You had 12,000?
around $12,000.
Some don't count because they've been upgraded.
Yeah.
Already, and they're safe. They're
Our
I see.
current,
I see.
Yeah.
I see. So the 230 wasn't an exact, okay.
but we.
Okay.
We also, I got into the gov goods, so we can go ahead and do this one too. The first set looks like HP Elite small form factor, so it's the desktop 150 quantity. And that is $130,645. and 50 cents.
130 what?
130,645.50.
Excuse me.
The next would be a HP ProBook 4G1A 14-inch, 30 quantity, $24,140.10. Next one would be a HP ProBook 4G1A 16-inch, 50 quantity, $40,150.50. Then the next set looks like a HP Elite 805 Gen 9 small form factor at 150. So this is going to be the higher spec 805. That is at $145,420.50. The next one will be an HP ProBook 4G1A 14-inch at 30 quantity, $27,120.30. Then the last one is an HP ProBook 4 G1A at 16 inches, quantity 50, at $45,135 even.
Do you have a total on that?
So they gave me a total of both sets. So the total's not right. Let me calculate this all up. So the first set is $194,936.10. The second set total is $217,675.80. That's it.
Okay.
Why? My head hurts.
That's all it is, correct?
That is it.
I'll make a motion to table these, so we can review it. Go over.
You second?
Yes.
And I'll make that unanimous.
Appreciate it. Anything else you guys need from me? All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
I'll be in touch.
All right. Yeah, good evening. Next item on the agenda is Highway Department, CCMG update, ship seal training, gov deals, auction items, uniform policy. How you doing, Ken?
Okay.
Thanks, sir.
First thing I'll cover is the CCMG update. Oh, you're gonna see some invoices, some larger amount of invoices start rolling through to approve. The first one is the Kinderhook Road project. You'll see, we're gonna owe $171,900 for the stage that it's in right now. The top sheet right there shows you guys that our money that's sitting in there through CCMG Community Crossing Fund's got like 1.5 in it. And the local road and street has our match in it, it's got 375 in it. So we're funded for all that. Of course, the total bill on Kinderhook will be
pretty low, right?
437,128. So we're paying 171,900 right now. You can probably see on their schedule, it kind of breaks down the work that's been done currently.
Is that one about close?
Yeah, they're putting head walls on right now, wing walls. So we've got a little bit of work left to do, but this, I would say the main part for sure is done.
Is those wing walls, are those concrete wing walls?
They're aluminum wing walls and they actually tie back into the subgrade. Let's see. That covers that, unless you got any questions on it.
I appreciate the update.
Chip seal training, that kind of changed. We're gonna do some chip seal training here within the next month. I got briefly talked to Randy, we talked about like doing the John Jones building just for training, but it's gonna be a lot of money, they're probably not there right now, so. But we are gonna do some chip seal training, but we'll kind of be doing it on the road somewhere with that funds coming out of the highway.
Are you gonna be doing that with Jefferson County?
With Jefferson County, yeah, we're collaborating right now with Southeastern Equipment. Where our chippers from, they're gonna come down and do, some training with us. Jefferson County's gonna bring the distributor that they currently have down. Just get all the crews together. Some of their guys are familiar with it. A few of my guys are familiar with it, but not many. Basically, I'm just gonna buy one tanker this year, because we actually didn't know what all was gonna come together, so we didn't make a plan for it, but we definitely want to get our feet wet and get going, so we're gonna do a little bit, and then they're gonna do some too, and they got a new superintendent, so he's kind of getting a feel of what he needs to do, so we'll get together and get it moving anyway, get in the right direction.
I want to piggyback real quick on what you
Yeah.
just said, and then correct me if I'm wrong, what we talked about. The health department, by the time we would have done the parking lot for the health department, that would have added up to about a mile worth of work, chips here.
Yeah.
So when you measured it out, correct, or was it a little over a mile?
Yeah, it's about a mile.
Yeah. So, I think, Kevin's gonna do the training, at the, transfer station, because we don't need to do much at the transfer station. And it'd make an improvement at the transfer station, and there ain't that much there. The cost is not much there, but it's enough for them to do the training they need.
And that's just using the lot to calibrate the machine. That ain't nothing new. I mean, it's just more getting ready. I mean, we waste that much just calibrating, so we might as well do it there.
Yeah.
You know? So, kind of
That can
get a
be
bang for our buck, I guess, and
Yeah.
make the mess there.
The first initial thought was we did it at the health department, because the health department's parking lot needs a lot of work, but when you start measuring it out, that is a lot. You come up with, well, you come up with a number.
10,000 square yards, a little over 10,000, and 92,000 square feet. There's a lot of area there. A lot more area than what we thought once we got out and started measuring it. So we thought that'd be a good area, then we figured out how much money it was. Probably not a good area anymore.
So that's why that was the thought pattern that went into that decision, guys.
I left my gov deals list on my copy machine, I guess, but I'll email it to you, and it'll be okay. It'll be a good run for the next meeting as far as that goes. But I got a list of stuff that I wanted to put in the gov deals. The old fire truck back there, old military tractor. I got a list. I'll bring it back next time. I'll email it to you, let you see it, and you got any questions.
You getting rid of the old military tractor?
Well, it's up to you, but I know what I like to see it go to your house or something. The next thing I've been working on for a while, I should have had done is, so since I started, we had a uniform company, and then about a year later, we switched companies, and the commissioner signed a 3-year contract. That contract is now done. Of course, the company wants us to resign. I'm not interested in keep signing with them because I can't keep them in budget because they'll start at whatever it is, $100 a person, and then before you know it, it's 200, and they're charging you for buttons and this, and it's kind of just chasing your tail all the time with them. What we like to do, kind of like some of the other municipalities is doing, is just do a outerwear stipend like twice a year. I wrote this policy. I don't know if this is correct. Whether you guys look at it, we can go from there. Did you
I was
read
just saying, I've got one copy.
it? I got it.
Exactly. With the-
Maybe that gets the conversation started anyway. Man, this is a long policy.
I mean, I work hard on it.
So what are you thinking? Taking what you pay now in your budget for this company and then dividing that up between your employees?
Yeah, that's what we was thinking. That what we had, what we're budgeted. That's why I didn't put an amount in there. I mean, the budget changed, but what we were budgeted last year, it would start to the 26 year because, to be honest with you, we won't have the funds to do it anyway in 25 years.
Yeah.
I like it.
On work where appropriate clothing, are you gonna be more specific about?
No.
No?
In my policy writing, I guess, what I looked up online, and if you get into where you start saying exactly what they gotta wear and so on and so forth, it kind of comes back down to uniform that you gotta pay for anyway. Is the way I understood it, if you start getting detailed on the way. If you take it, I'll compare it to the state highway, right? If you buy a high-vis shirt, whatever, you can wear it. Good for you. It's great. If you do not, we'll provide you one. We'll provide you a vest. So if you start getting detailed, and that's why I like work appropriate clothes.
The high vis, that's I guess my concern was whether or not I like the guys wearing high vis.
Most of my guys do when they're actually out on the road and in the closed areas. We're always going to encourage it, but
Do you have vests
mechanics
now?
don't have to wear high vis all the time if they're in the shop. We do have vests. Well, we can get vests, they're not a big deal. I can add it to it and bring it back next time. It's not
Well, I guess
I just got to get it done pretty quick because they're pushing us to sign a contract and we don't want to sign a contract. So, because right now it's just kind of open. But
I'm worried about their safety. As long as if they don't have a high vis shirt, if they're going to be wearing a vest, I'm fine with that. And then hopefully that'll encourage them to buy a high vis shirt if they have to wear a vest in the summertime.
I think, me personally, I'd like to just see it as work appropriate clothes. And I'll make sure we got work appropriate clothes. Because I don't know, you get muddy with that. So, I mean, if you get details, you got to high vis on. Well, if it's 0 degrees outside and you put your Carhartt over top your high vis, now are you out of compliance?
Well, if you're out on the
So how
road,
detailed do you want to get, I guess?
well, it's pretty standard. If you're out working, you need to have some kind, your PPE on.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, there's some common sense, I think.
Yeah. I'm just worried about name tapes, like people don't know who Peanut is anymore.
Yeah, I mean, Peanut paid for his own tag, so.
There's a wrong asking plates. I mean,
I think Kevin's point is that he's gonna leave it open and he'll provide qualified safety equipment if he feels that it's necessary for the job being done, but he's not gonna require like a uniform. I mean, to me, that's up to you guys, what you wanna do.
As long
Whether
as,
you wanna re-enter into this contract or go somewhere else or do what he's suggesting. I mean, I think that's
Yeah.
girls,
I support whatever you
You're
want to
also-
do.
yeah, as long as you have high vis vest or whatever you can give to your guys, I'm
We'll
good.
provide, we'll make sure, the officers are provided and encouraged, a safe job site.
Yeah. Safe.
I'm just concerned about their safety.
Yeah.
I got a few old ones I can bring I got two nobles I can bring you.
I know, right, turn colors. The old orange hard hat that turned.
Some faded.
I'm fine with this, as long as,
But that's what's wild.
as long as we maintain safety, nobody gets hurt. And I know you're a good supervisor, I know you're all over it, but
Well, it would be very specific to the highway department.
And with the fluctuation in budget with the line item for that.
So Wagner looked at this.
No, we just got it this afternoon. He put it together this afternoon. We had talked to State Board of Accounts and they told us we needed a clothing policy. We really,
For the highway department?
that
Okay.
was State Board of Accounts thoughts.
It's a odd thing for the state board of accounts to have an opinion on. Okay. I would send it to Wagner, see if they can write up like a amendment to the employment handbook, but that it's very specific to the highway department, much like I think we've got some policies that only apply to like EMS and some other.
So I did talk to Nick, and I know with the sheriff, they, their uniforms were returned, and that was one of the things, State Board of Accounts, kind of like, well, what are you gonna do here, there? And they were asking, but I think if we have employees in the courthouse, like Ben has uniforms that not uniforms, but he has a clothing allowance that they give him. So I wonder, should we have something, if his, would it be specific, or do we need one that's a little more for, do we just need a specific one for the highway? And then do something for everything else?
I think
Okay.
specific for the highway.
Okay. I can send that out to them tonight.
Works for me.
Does that work?
Yeah, that's fine. This is the project I've been trying to get done, just ain't got done. We're moving in the right direction, so.
Yeah. I'm all for it. Just want to make sure everything's checks and balances.
Sure, yeah, that's fine.
So, make a motion to send that to Wagner or Shealy to get a clothing policy.
I'll second that.
I'll make that unanimous.
That's flexible for the highway department.
I think that's all I got.
Sounds good.
Did you want the big ox? I think you want all the fish you didn't get to eat. I'll sit here, if you got a question.
So Kevin, this is your reestimate based on what has already been done, right?
No, that is the estimate that I just went out and looked at it last week.
Okay.
There.
Yeah.
So the top part of it on the equipment cost, that's just based off FEMA's 2023 schedule on comparable equipment that we have at the highway department, how much it costs to run it per hour. So I just wrote all that, and that's up to you guys whether you charge that or not, but, and then the actual labor is the highway workforce time and a half.
Gotcha.
So that's where that did. And I sent you one, and I think I accidentally sent you the wrong one. So
It was a
that's
huge,
the actual
it was
one.
a huge number, so
Yeah.
that's way different. Okay.
Yeah.
So I did get, a response from Mr. Neese about progress. He indicated that he had, gone out and done some trash like collection, had like bagged it all and had removed all of the debris that was there, and that he had planned on doing some mowing again out there. There was supposed to be, and I was supposed to receive like some pictures of what was done. I did not receive the pictures. And there wasn't really a discussion about the one structure that's still out there. He did say that he'd gone up there and he cleaned up all the trash. I think had a discussion with whoever the person was that may not have been like dumping on that property and kind of creating the problem to start out with, but, or at least the trash problem, but.
Yeah, you found them.
That's even worse when you know who's doing it. Yeah.
So, I mean, some progress, not a lot of progress in my mind that I can, and I can't confirm it. That's why I was kind of saying we need to send somebody out there from our side.
I meant to reach out to Tim.
Yeah.
And I'll do that in the morning.
Yeah. But he has been communicating with me, maybe not exactly the way I requested it, but he has explained what he's done.
Okay. We'll have Tim look at it and, cause I know there's still a number of piles that are still out there. And I want to know what the plan is for the silver trailer, the single wide that's out there. So
He's keeping the one single ride, right? I just plan on tearing one down, first little one sticking in the woods there.
yes,
He was gonna gut it and redo it.
I think you have to.
Yeah.
So,
There's not that much material there.
so, we'll reach out to Tim, because I appreciate him reaching out to you.
Yeah.
But I think progress is still very slow.
Yeah.
Out there. It's not very stellar, by no means. So we'll get a full evaluation, and go from there. And then, quite frankly, we'll just keep this reoccurring on the agenda until something, either we move it out ourselves or whether he moves it out and gets it fixed like we've asked him to do, so. But for him, the biggest key is progress, so that's.
All right. So that takes care of Big Ox property cleanup, right? And we're going to move into EMS settlement.
So this is for I think it was one of the series of lawsuits that was filed on behalf of the county against some individuals who had participated in and enrolled in our EMS training institute, but had not paid the fees associated with it. We did the approval on the original one. Our attorney went to court on the other two. This was one of them. When he got there, Nick was there with him. They were getting ready for the hearing. They called me, and we kind of went through what the defendant in that particular case had kind of offered, basically, which was extremely similar to what had been previously approved on one of the other cases. So my explanation was drafted up. It's a lump sum amount. You'll see the amount that's in the back, and I think it avoids a lot of the negative things that I was concerned about in these cases, which is actually collecting the amounts. So, it's a lump sum check. It's not the full amount. It's obviously a reduced price, but it is one that I think is beneficial to the county. So,
Thanks for working on it.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
And I'll make that unanimous.
and it's got signature lines for everybody. It's on the back of the, or, yeah.
go ahead and, while we're getting Adam's signature, we'll go ahead and go to PTO approval for Officer McCutcheon.
Officer McCutcheon has some PTO banked up. Per our handbook, had he been terminated or voluntarily left, he would not have been paid that. However, in the past, when we've had someone that passed, they have gone ahead and voted to allow them to keep that, or, it goes to his family. So that's a decision I need for you guys to make, if you want to do that or not.
And again, it's for how many hours or,
I believe it was 22.
doesn't matter, I'm just.
That's
had a
what I'm
conversation.
yeah.
So there's a precedent that's been set.
We have done that in the past since I've been here, they've done that for an employee that passed away.
Motion to approve.
Okay. Yeah. I'll second.
All right, then I'll make that unanimous. God be with you, family. So next item on the agenda is transfer station satellite collection updates. Tomorrow, we're going to be meeting at 5:00 to talk about this, and then during an executive, and then it's been advertised.
No, it's a,
It's a workshop.
That'll be a
Workshop, I'm sorry.
it's a
We're having an executive over the interviews at 6. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
One of these days, he's gonna start carrying a ruler and smack him.
That's why the gavel is.
Like they did in
on the table.
school.
Yeah. Yeah. Funny how you missed that name, from, but anyway, so that's the only update. At this time, I'd like to talk about that unless you guys have anything else. Okay. The next thing on the agenda is courthouse windows quote. I'm gonna ask Greg a question. Greg, do you know how to mirror my pictures to that?
I don't know how you modify.
Okay. So basically what we have is we have windows on the front of the courthouse.
Where she might be.
You know how?
But you have to sync your phone and then you have
Can you
to
email it
transfer
to
it.
her?
I sure can. Email? I'm gonna do this two emails. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just doing this because it's easier to talk about. And also to let people know at home what's going on.
We're falling apart. There's what's going on. We are absolutely falling.
We are. Okay. You should have them. While she's doing that, we have a couple, we started off with, we had 3 windows last year. Well, they went on for quite a while, but we had 3 windows in the judge's chambers in the new part that fell apart. And we replaced those windows. And I believe it cost us $11,000 to replace those 3. And the issue that we have is every time we replace windows on the second level, we have to have a lift to do that. So basically, I just reached out to Scottsburg Glass to see about replacing the remainder windows that I believe is going to be an issue. So that we don't have to keep paying for a lift every time a window falls apart. And also, we want our windows to look, the same. So the quote would be to replace these 4 windows.
Kenley might need a quick notes.
Oh.
The side thing isn't popping.
The next picture,
On the next, okay.
the other email, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's in another email.
Okay, so those 4 windows, and then these 2 windows, because I believe this window here is it's not in the equation. It is a commercial window already. These 2 are also wood, so are these, but I think they're back here underneath that they're not gonna rot. So I didn't really want to replace them. They will look a little bit different. They'll look like this. But the other issue, I think, the reason I would like to leave those is these are operable. The new windows that we were looking at is not, I'm sorry. And I think we probably need to keep ourselves some access in case we ever have to work on this ledge right here, or if somebody's had enough and just wants to jump off. But, so that's the 6 windows we're looking at. See if I have any questions. Do you guys agree with the 6 windows I picked?
Are they already failing or preemptive, like preventive maintenance?
All the
Just-
windows
just-
on this side have already failed and we've replaced.
Yeah.
And then,
Okay, they might need to go, other picture, please.
yeah, I'm sorry, need you to go back, Emily. And this is exactly what happened to those other windows.
Mhm.
If you zoom in right there, or when you go out tonight and look up, you'll see that the bottom sash is gone.
Yeah.
And that window is just getting ready to drop out.
Then, yeah, it has to be.
So it's the same MO with all these windows, why we're doing that. For me, just opposed to keep getting that lift and coming out and paying the $2,000 each additional time.
Yeah.
Replace them all at once and be done with it.
I think it was always our hopes because of the renovations that we know that we're gonna have to do here. I mean, and with City Hall. That's part of some of the things that Andrew was getting to and him trying to coordinate some of his work. But, I mean, one way or another, we're gonna pay for it. So we're either gonna pay for it now or pay for it later, so.
Yeah, well, we got a lot of things we need to pay for.
Yeah.
So.
But I mean, obviously, the window's gonna drop out on us, or one of them is anyway.
So,
I guess with the condition of that one, it makes sense. And it can't wait until we figure out another funding source for all.
Do we have funds in a line item?
Well, I don't know if Eric's got it.
I looked up Eric's, and
Well,
Eric had 18,000, which is what the thing is, but he's got 5,000 getting ready to come out, and they're only gonna leave him about 12,000. So what I'm proposing, that if we decide to go ahead and fix the windows, to send it to the council and let the council try to find the money. If they can, they can, they can't.
or ask Scottsburg Glass to go back to which ones are failing. That way, if it's, the other ones aren't failing right now, we'd be smart about the money, and that way we can use money for other things. Like, I don't want to spend money on something that's not failing yet. And when we can prioritize that money for computers or some other thing coming down that we need, that we have to have. Because I don't want to spend 12,000 either on end of life services if we don't have to. Like kicking the can down the road. But that's just me.
I mean, the only
If they
thing
can
is
find the
we're
money.
dealing with windows that won't look exactly the same.
If we have the money somewhere, I'm good with it.
We could maybe, so maybe, is your suggestion maybe just replace the 4 windows
Well,
instead of the 6?
I would say if the council is able to find money and we can support the other things coming down the pipe, then I'm good with all of them. to make sure they're saying.
Oh,
and
you're
they're
saying-
okay. But if the council cannot, find
To
the
give-
money,
You're saying give it to the council and let them see if they can find the 18,000, and if not, let them tell us how much they can provide, and we can see how many windows we can fix.
yes, take the priority, yes.
Well, I think that priority needs to be sent to the council. I mean, so this is what we'd like to take advantage of while the lift's out here. This is what we need.
Yeah.
I don't
Want
want
versus
no-
need.
Yeah, I don't,
Yeah.
no back and forth with all that.
Yeah.
So, because at some point, I mean, we're gonna have to come up with some money. Whatever that looks like. We've talked about this before, it's no secret, whether it's a bond or whether it will be a bond. And, because, we're under a mandate to renovate this building to accommodate the judge's needs.
We're under a mandate now?
We're not under a mandate, but he could mandate.
He could. And so that has been ongoing for quite a while.
2017. I thought the city hall thing closed it down.
With the
It has,
understanding.
but
with
we
the
still
understanding-
need to
with the
renovate
understanding that
City
we
Hall.
would, again, buy City Hall.
Yeah.
Move
We're
our
taking
officers
measures.
over there.
Yeah.
And provide one additional courtroom.
Gotcha.
For the magistrate judge. I think a separate office.
Yeah.
So I think right now it's they're packed in one office.
It's all.
And I think while we're doing that, we basically agreed that if we're gonna buy this building, we're gonna move some of the non-court-based
Yeah.
offices over there.
Yeah.
But assuming we didn't do those things, I think that at that point, we would have really followed through on kind of
Yeah.
the spirit of what was negotiated.
Yeah, the purchase of City Hall was good faith.
Yeah.
On our part to say, hey, we're trying to accommodate the needs.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to sidetrack.
So, and then with that, the City Hall needs obviously some renovations to utilize our departments for what's needed over there. So anyway, with all that, I do agree, quite frankly, let's address the needs, right? The ones that are failing, but let's send it. And if they can fund that at the 18,305, great. But if you can't, we need 4 windows and these need replaced at whatever that cost is.
Do you mind if I speak up here just a second?
Absolutely not. No, go ahead.
There's nobody in this room hates to spend money any worse than I do. But I was out here last year when they took the 3 windows out. The only thing holding the 2 good windows together was paint. And those windows are in the same shape now. If you go over with your thumbnail, you open one of them windows and push into that wood, your thumbnail's gonna sink. Those windows need to be replaced.
Yeah.
It ain't a matter of wanting to do it, they need replaced. They're gonna fall out there and kill somebody. Randy was standing out there the
Just
other
like
day, with the bottom of the sash in his hand, where it fell.
Are you saying even the ones that we're saying are
The-
not need-based,
the-
aren't really are need-based?
I think Randy's right, the 2 that's hid back under, where they've got good weather protection, those are probably plenty sound. But all of them that's exposed to the weather, I'll guarantee you, every one of them's in the same, the paint's holding them together.
And Judge Hauser's windows before we replaced those, I
Yeah.
mean, they wouldn't keep a fly out.
Yeah.
I mean, they were.
No, literally, she had flies coming in.
Yeah.
That's the ones I seen land on the ground last year.
Mhm.
Hers was the worst, and then
No
the other
question.
2, I mean, you just grab a hold of them with your hand and split them apart.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty scary stuff. quite
There's
frankly.
my
I mean,
opinion, you guys.
that's how but I
So-
like that idea, quite frankly.
So your suggestion is just to send it to the council with the full 18,000 replace all?
If it can be found, they all need it.
Okay.
They're gonna have to be replaced eventually. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Eventually, we're gonna have to do it anyway, whether we pay for it now or pay for it later somehow.
We save $2,000, or well, we'll save an additional $2,000 if we do it now. So, do I have a motion
I make a motion, send it to the council.
for
18,305 for 6 windows.
Contingent on council's
Approval.
sufficient appropriation of the monies.
Yes.
I second that.
All right, then I'll make that unanimous. We'll quit kicking that one. All right. FMLA unpaid leave vote.
We brought this up, and I do not have the form with me. We brought this up at the last meeting, and we started to say something. The person that was asking, requesting that had, it was 3 or 4 days, but the person that the FMLA was for has passed away. So it'd just be those original 3 or 4 days.
I remember looking at it, and I don't know what happened. We jumped off on something else.
We did, and it didn't get voted on. What it was, we discussed it, but we did not vote on it.
I had it in
Let me see in
hand.
Trina's, if I can find it.
You might look for it one more time.
Yeah, I think we thought we was going to do it. We just get.
I was pretty sure, because I mean, it did meet qualifications.
She says it did or did not.
I don't know. I don't know what happened. I remember we started talking about it and it went to something else and it never got voted on. I don't know why or what we got into, but it never did circle back to it.
Special invoices there, maybe we should just. Let's move.
I don't see it.
Kenley, do you have the special invoices or anything? Was there any? All right, we're going to go ahead while we're waiting on Jennifer to do the consideration of regular and special invoices. This is special invoices.
It's not in the folder where I left it. So I want you to put it in a different file. That's not the completed ones.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize that.
Hold that up. I mean,
Okay.
how-
It will, because it'll be effective in a pay.
I think the hold
No, what it is they can use PTO that we charge it back to them.
This is right.
There's a plan there.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
So I know you emailed those. You have any questions on special invoices? Do you make a motion to approve?
It's just that it's for the girls. Yeah. Did you say how much it was?
It was, $19,000.
$1,461.
Yeah.
And this is out of a
Funds we've already said.
4,000 that are already set aside for it?
Yes.
I make a motion to approve it.
I'll second.
I'll make that unanimous. And then regular invoices,
I don't think you had any this time.
what was that? Was that not regular invoice?
For waste
No,
management.
I think
Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's good, okay.
that's your Sasser stuff.
Are we tabling the FMLA?
Yeah, we're going to
Yes,
talk
because I
about it.
cannot find the copy that I had here
We're not.
last.
Okay.
I mean, I can tell you, I don't know, I'm not gonna tell you the person on, but I can tell you that he had worked here the 12 months he was supposed to and all like that.
Okay.
He's met the requirements, but
Okay. Well, I'll make a motion to table until next meeting where we can take care of it.
Yeah, I'll second. We had it. I
know,
I
yeah.
had it in my
I
hand.
know I've seen it.
I don't know where it went, but
On the FMLA?
well, it was in the front of that and it's not there now, so,
On the FMLA?
yes.
yeah.
We're gonna
we
table
just
that.
tabled it,
Okay, I'll take a motion to table that.
Yeah. Adam made a motion, I'll second.
I'll make that unanimous. All right, then, now we're looking at consideration of payroll for July 11th. Does anybody not want anybody to be paid?
I don't, I'll make a motion to pay.
I'll second.
I'll make that unanimous.
Yes, I'm sorry. I thought you said the amounts and what.
Consideration of minutes. Did anybody have any objections to them?
No. I'll make a motion to accept.
Second.
And I'll make that unanimous. Council, do you have anything for us tonight?
I do. I don't have any, I don't need any action or anything. I just wanted everybody to be aware. I did reach out to IDEM and explain to them that you guys have basically given me the authority to reach out to them about getting a revised proposed order that would resolve all pending issues. They are supposed to get me that proposed agreed order by the end of this week, and they extended the 20% reduction out until August 23rd of 2025, so that we could have time to, review everything, basically.
Okay. On that, just so to keep you informed, out of the two not compactors, out of the two open top dumpsters, the covers that we was needing, one is finished. John was going to give the county some metal rib metal to put on top of it. I've got to get with him and screw that down on the top of them, of the one, and they're building the second one now. So we're trying.
Moving right along.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting.
And I want to thank John for the metal, because it helps save the county more money that we don't have. So
Thank you.
not only for your time, but now for the money out of your pocket. All right. So Greg, do you have anything else?
Yeah, I've got a few things. Has anyone followed up with Mayor Amick or Mayor Hawkins on dispatch contracts paid? I've tried calling them a few times a couple months ago, and I never got any follow-up.
No, but they are receptive to that. I have talked to Austin, and we really need to look at that, holistically, what's fair, what we need, because these guys are going to be putting their budgets together. We need to really get a number out there soon. And so, yes, the treasurer reached out to me. I know we need to look at this,
So I mean, what are we thinking?
and I'm sure there's going to be some negotiation there as well. It just needs to be looked at.
Do we want to do that like off a percentage number of the amount of people that they're serving?
I think
That, I mean, can make it
do
fair
a
between
executive-
Scottsburg and Austin.
Can we talk about or do a workshop with this, or have a meeting with them?
Have we talked about the creation of like a 911?
Yeah, recreation, because they haven't paid into, with our financial situation. I feel it's either them stand up their own, pay for it, and that way we can reevaluate our center, or they buy back in, we have the 911 board. And then we can, that alleviates some financial burden off us.
Really,
Budget's time coming up,
I think.
it comes down to skin in the game.
Yeah, I think certainly
Zach.
you all can obviously meet to discuss whether, I don't know if it needs.
We don't have too many workshops, so my question is going to be, tomorrow we're having a workshop at 5 before interviews. Could we discuss that
Nope,
Okay.
because technically the way you've advertised it, it's considered a special meeting. You advertised it for one reason. And
Okay.
that reason is for the,
I didn't know if that applied to workshop, but thank you.
All right. The other
Can we
thing,
talk about tomorrow?
insurance RFPs, where are we with the binders and everything else?
We have received those now. After that was mentioned in the meeting, we have received that.
Okay, I've got 2 phone calls today, about it from insurance
Okay.
people up north.
requesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think if they called, we did get the information that we were waiting on from,
Mr. Buchanan.
yes. I think it was like the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There, so.
I know you sent like half of them or something.
And I think for anybody that's watching or anybody that calls, tell them to call the auditor's office and we can provide any of the, I think we've already had one public records request for it, but we can give any information about that material to anybody that wants to get it.
Okay. All right, and then I've got a statement to read, covering my tenure as commissioner so far. The primary reason I ran for this commissioner seat was to bring accountability and transparency to our local government, namely through holding those who believe themselves to be above policies and laws accountable. From the moment I announced my campaign, I received consistent complaints from fellow citizens, county employees of abuse of power, retaliation, lack of actual work. In the 2 months between winning the election and stepping into this role, more people came forward with concern. When I made my whistleblower post on January 11th, doors blew wide open. And just as I promised, I got to work. In the whistleblower policy, paragraph 1, it explicitly states the Board of Commissioners is charged with the responsibilities of investigating these measures. The policies include that have been brought forward to me: productive work environment, conditional offer of employment, medical exam and drug screening, background checks, which have not been done, review of personnel files, performance evaluations, conflicts of interest, nepotism, employee timekeeping responsibilities, return of property, use of computers and emails, internet policy, drug policy, social media policy, whistleblower policy, harassment and hostile work environment, retaliation, sanctions, ghost employment, business ethics and conduct, workplace violence and conduct. I have spent the last 6.5 months working on these complaints, covering the span of every one of these handbook sections. As I just read off, the handbook states it's the commissioner's responsibility. I have followed the proper sequence of actions as defined by the handbook and been met with constant resistance and accountability at every single step of the way. To date, there has been action taken to 1 employee, and that was an uphill battle, even with clear violations of employment. I have not disclosed the details of these accusations to the public due to my understanding of the legal requirements of confidentiality laws. The lack of integrity and professionalism not only extends to the employees accountable, but the interviewing and hiring of new employees. Over the course of the last few months, people sitting up here at this table have stated Scott County is not diversified enough for a particular interview candidate and made an inappropriate PTSD joke when veterans brought forth veteran-related concerns. Just this past Friday, intentionally, there was an interview applicant that was scheduled for a 30-minute interview when all other candidates were scheduled for an hour. One commissioner showed up 25 minutes late to a 30-minute interview and spent that remaining time telling the candidate why they were not qualified and interrogating them. You want transparency? After 5 months of sitting alongside my fellow commissioners, being consistently outvoted and outright ignored when it comes to personnel and disciplinary action, I got low. It's defeating to fail and deliver on your promise time and time again, despite your best efforts. I didn't put myself and my family in the crosshairs of this county just to let the status quo continue. As of right now, as it stands, the handbook means nothing. I guess the taxpayers need to decide, what do they want their hard-earned money used for? Paying salaries of people who lie about their qualifications? Watch inappropriate material at work? collect a paycheck for hours they don't work, string news, YouTube, lack decorum in the workplace, aren't required to meet basic employment criteria or qualifications, or use their power to intimidate and retaliate. If you want to see change, seems like you need to make some phone calls to your elected officials. So thank you very much for your time. Y'all have a good night.
And I'd like to have a statement.
You go right ahead. I'm sure people will love to hear.
I think that you have not had enough attention growing up, and I don't think you should grandstand in a meeting. Counselor, you want to say something? Because I'm telling you right now,
I would just
I
say,
am tired of,
I would just say that, and just, I've been pretty consistent, and you can go back and watch any of the videos, in the last couple of years. County government is not exactly the same as running a business. There's no president or CEO that makes decisions up and down the board for every single department. The democratic process applies to a number of different departments and positions within the county. We have an elected sheriff, council members, auditor, assessor, prosecutor, judges, clerk,
Assessors, recorders.
assessor, recorder, treasurer. The public weighs in on all of those elected officials about who they want in those positions based on who the candidates are. Those elected officials are charged with running those offices, and as commissioners and as council, we're statutorily required to provide them office space and employee positions sufficient to do their jobs. There are other, first off, those employees, from my perspective, and if you can find a statute in the Indiana code that tells me differently, I'd love to see it. They're not county commissioner employees. Okay. Those employees work for the elected official that was elected to that position, whose office they report to. There are other departments that are commissioner-based departments. County highway, health department, kind of they have a health board too, but we appoint members to the board, so it's a little bit different. EMS, just as examples. Those department heads, those employees, they report directly to the commissioner, but we don't have the authority to order anybody, for instance, Jennifer, we can't tell you to fire somebody in your office. We can't tell you to discipline somebody in your office. Frankly, you're a constitutional office holder. We're statutory, created by statute. And the only powers that a commissioner has must be firmly grounded in statute or some form of authorized home rule law. We don't have general powers as, the CEO of the county to oversee every single department. We don't. And I've said this since the beginning, that is the case. In my opinion, we can't tell, for instance, the sheriff what to do. They have a sheriff's merit board. They make decisions about hiring and firing. Council sets the pay structure. We don't make decisions about elected office holders, employees, employment status. I do think that, from my perspective, we do investigate situations that fall within our ambit and report those to the proper people to investigate within their own ambit of authority, and always have since I've been here. So again, that doesn't mean that everyone agrees with how decisions get made, but every mistake or issue in the workplace is dealt with on an individualized basis. You know, we have a handbook that defines, you know, different types of offenses and different levels of offenses. Not everything's a termination. Not everything is a suspension. Not everything is even a formal write-up. Some of them are just like, you know, corrective action type situations where you try to work with somebody. I think that there's a number of interplay of different types of federal and state laws here when we talk about managing, you know, the workplace. We've got ADA, we've got HIPAA, we've got, you know, other types of things that we have to try to accommodate in different situations. And I think that we have done our utmost to do that. Again, it doesn't mean that everybody always agrees, okay? But if the public doesn't agree, you know, certainly they can go to the polls and make those thoughts known, but.
That's exactly right.
And I just want to say, from my perspective, you know, again, you know, it's pretty clear in my contract, my duty is to the Board of Commissioners. And that's the board as a whole. And I think that I try to advise you guys on the right way to do things as you have to address different issues. And those, you know, can be extremely serious or extremely minor. And I think we try to give the right weight to situations based on, again, that individualized assessment. And I think that we try to know exactly what the facts are about, you know, what we're doing before we come to, you know, a conclusion about a situation. So that's my 2 cents. I'm not saying that, you know, again, people can disagree, but
I'm sorry, I thought you finished.
Sure.
I just have one question.
Sure.
Listening to all of that, I remember back a few months ago, there was, and I don't know what they were, the room was sitting this way, and there was like 3 or 4 whistleblower things brought to the committee. And the commissioners and you did a very good job explaining to Adam the process for whistleblower. And it was specifically said that he could not do no one could do a unilateral investigation. That was specifically said, those words, I think, unilateral investigation, and that because of possible litigation, that those items would be sent to a third-party person for investigation. I would like to ask you, were those 3 whistleblower complaints sent to a third party for investigation like you promised Scott County residents?
And what are you talking about? I don't know what the 3.
I don't know, no one said there was 3. It was the conversation that you were supposed to send it to the commissioners, and he said I did, and then it was promptly shared with, it was sent out and it was no longer confidential, sent an email somewhere, and he, okay.
Wait, what?
That he had sent, he had started an investigation, he was told he couldn't do that. You explained the law, did very well, and he said, I did what I was supposed to do. I took the complaint and I sent it to the commissioners, and someone promptly forwarded in an email. So suddenly it was out there. And don't look at me like you don't remember, Jennifer, because I know you do.
What email?
I think it's
know, that
one
was
he's
what I'm saying.
blaming me on.
We had-
Is that the one you're talking about?
We don't know. There was just 3 items, and no one ever told us what they were. But my question is,
Well, let me, and I can, what I can say
I
is,
can go back and look, because it's there.
Oh,
That's
he
fine.
can, he can tell you the process
That's
real
fine.
quick.
What I can
No,
say
I'm
is,
not talking about the process. I know what the process is.
It is
I'm
process.
saying-
Every time that there's something submitted, it's a process.
what I can tell you is that if there were any issues brought up about specific employees that are under the commissioners, those have all been addressed.
With
You
a
can go,
third-party party?
no, we don't have to go to a third party.
Well, that's kind of what you said that night. because
We-
afraid of litigation.
We,
I'll
we,
find-
we
I'll find-
can choose, and we have in the past used a third party to do investigations. Johnny, how much did it cost the time where a third party did an investigation into an employment-related complaint?
I don't remember exactly, but it was a bunch.
Was it $32,000?
That sounds about
Okay.
right.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying, I remember.
Hang on. Every individualized employment decision about whether or not it's serious enough
Mhm.
where we need to go to that third party and spend $30,000 worth of taxpayer funds
Mhm.
to figure out whether or not something rises to a particular level or not. That initial process is a discussion amongst the Board of Commissioners. We have every right in the employment handbook as it relates to employees under us.
Mhm.
Not every employee in this building works for us.
I understand.
Okay, they just don't. Hang on. You can go back and pull the notices of executive session, okay, and the purposes that those executive sessions were held, and you could probably compare the number of executive sessions that have been held this year. And I mean, I just so happen to have the executive session statute pulled up because there was a question, I think, before about whether we could hold one tomorrow, but
Ma'am, I'm pretty sure that at that meeting you're talking about, it was advised that those employees had to file a specific report with the auditor first, and that had not been done at that time.
I
Yeah.
understand, but I'm just talking about the direction we were given. I'm not talking about.
Yeah.
Well, that was the direction.
with respect to any individual over whom the governing body has jurisdiction to receive information concerning the individual's alleged misconduct. You're certainly welcome to ask for copies of any of the notices that were posted for any of the meetings since January 1st of this year, where, I mean, I'm not going to go into the specifics of what was discussed in an executive session,
You should.
but again, know that when that specific subsection is referenced in an executive session notice, it's probably because we are discussing alleged misconduct of an employee, okay? And again, just because somebody makes a complaint does not mean that it's true,
I understand that too.
okay?
I just, that was the takeaway from that meeting, is that those, yeah, they talked about the whole process of how it should be handled. But we were under the understanding that there would be a third party investigation.
Not every single time. And if I said that at that time, then that's, a misstatement. It is, okay? And we're under no obligation to spend $30,000 worth of taxpayer funds every time somebody has an issue that, again, depending on the severity of the offense or what's going on, but I can tell you that there were executive sessions, long executive sessions held. Some of them, the news stood right outside the door.
I saw that one, so I know.
So I can tell you that at least those that I know of that were written down and submitted were addressed. If they weren't written down and submitted, I don't know. Okay. I mean, I can promise you that's what I can promise you, is that if they were written down and submitted, they were addressed like that. Okay. I mean, the other thing I was trying to explain is, in that meeting, my recollection is, whistleblower has a very particular legal definition, okay? Depends on the type of act that you're seeking protections under and what you're complaining about, right? So there's a specific act, for instance, in Indiana, that deals with reporting of misuse of public funds by a public official, okay? The proper party to report an allegation of that to is the Office of the Indiana Attorney General or the State Board of Accounts, okay? You might not be covered under whistleblower protections if you make a complaint to your neighbor, okay? Or somebody else who's not an authorized receiver, right? So it's a complicated thing. I can't get into the very specifics of, is every single complaint that is filed a whistleblower complaint in Scott County? No, they don't qualify under the act, depending on what's being complained of. I mean, I don't know of any specifics that we're talking about right now that would even rise to that level. And if you can find an Indiana code that would apply to a specific situation, you have a concern about it, I'm sure that we would like to address it. But, you know, the other thing is, again, we work in kind of an ecosystem here of different elected officials. We don't have the authority to, as a board of commissioners, tell somebody else to do something with their employees. I mean, in some ways, we've tried before. We've adopted ordinances and things related to take-home vehicles and policies for the sheriff's department, for instance. Didn't work very well because he said, I don't care. Right? And he's a constitutionally elected office holder. Again, if you could point me to a statute or a law that you say gives the commissioners the authority to do any of those things, you know, I'd be happy to consider it and look into it. But
besides the judge and the sheriff, what other groups report, who else is in there? The commissioners?
I named them all off at the beginning. Elected office holders.
Anybody who's elected office holder is responsible for their office. And the people who work for we are not.
Well, the state, if there's an issue. What do you mean the state?
Well, like Attorney General or.
Well, that would be like for specific things, like that's a misuse of public fund statute. It's very specific, and it authorized State Board of Accounts and the OAG to be involved in, you know, those types of situations.
So let's, elected official, who's an elected official, that has employees who live in the building. The auditor, let's talk about you too.
Yeah.
So if she has an employee and she has an issue, that employee does, and she complains to her and she gets no satisfaction or doesn't feel not vindicated, but that it's resolved, resolution, what would be the next step for Jennifer's?
Well, first off, I think it's a misperception that every employee's complaint needs to be resolved to the satisfaction of the employee.
Well, I not for me, I know that, but I'm just saying if a person
That's a
feels
very
like
good
they have
point.
it.
Yeah, I not every employee's let me put it this way. Jennifer doesn't have a boss in this building.
I understand that.
Yeah.
So if I was an employee and I really thought it was something, you know, maybe she was slapping me around, cussing at something legitimate, and she didn't listen to me.
If she's slapping you around, you call the police.
I'm saying that's
That
kind
was
of.
bad. But you know what I'm saying? What would be that person's next step if they didn't feel
I mean,
quit?
it's
job?
Like an harassment.
yeah, there's ways to file things with like the EEOC, okay? Now there are specifics, again, for who can, like what types of claims the EEOC deals with. There's the Department of Labor that deals with like, if you had a wage hour issue or something like that. There's, you know, and the other thing, again, we always get back to is elections.
Mhm.
Okay, if you're an employee and you don't like what's happening, I mean, you can make that fact known and, you know, run for election or propose a different candidate, you know, but, I can tell you right now, nobody from the state is going to come down and depose, you know, meaning remove an elected official without, you know, a really significant issue going on.
Yeah.
So what do you hear when people talk and it's very common. If you don't like that, call your commissioners. So that, I believe, is why everything gets routed this way.
And I think in practice in many ways, and this is not the same in any, it's not the same in every county, okay? Because again, different elected officials in different locations might want to do it differently. Some find it beneficial to, pool resources and make decisions on a countywide basis. For instance, adopting a countywide employment handbook. There are plenty other places that have handbooks that only apply to specific departments. Maybe the courts have a separate handbook. Maybe the prosecutor's office has a separate handbook. They don't have to have a handbook. Find a place in the law that tells me that anybody has to have a handbook, but I think that that may have been a generalized statement that people have been saying for years, because the truth is, I think in Scott County for many years, there was an acquiescence from the elected officials that were in office that everyone wanted to participate in, the same processes across all departments. Was that legally required? I don't believe so. And I can't find anything that would make it so in any type of Indiana statute. But it was just common practice. So maybe it became a common saying. But there are other places in Indiana that do it differently and participate to varying degrees within the employment handbook, or use it as a guideline, or use it as a recommendation. But again, it's because they choose to or they choose not to.
So who's in charge of the handbook? Do all the changes come to this board?
Our county handbook is, again, and I'm trying to get this across, it's not mandatory that an elected official agree to abide by any of the terms of the county handbook for their employee. Show me the law that says that it is. Right?
Unless some of the items in there is the law. If there's a law.
Well, yeah, you can't, agree to, you can't do something illegal. Okay, I agree with that.
Mhm.
That's pretty self-explanatory. But the specific terms of how to address them, how to address the process we seem to be focused on disciplinary processes here. So what I'm saying is there's no one size fits all. And each, new regime, let's say, of elected official could say, I don't like the way things have been done in the past and I want to do them differently. Why should they be bound by an employment handbook that was, passed in 2006?
I think this one was revised in 2019,
Okay.
but that's still 6 years old. There's still
Yeah.
a lot of things that need to be redone. It's just very expensive to do that.
Yeah. So,
So if a person in one department that works for the city in whatever capacity,
well, the city's a little different.
sorry,
Yeah.
county.
City's even more different than, city actually has more of a top-down, CEO-based, approach. That's mayor.
So if you have
They're just two different types of entities.
two departments that report to the commissioners,
Mhm.
Kevin would be one.
Yeah.
Nick would be one.
Yeah.
Who else? Those are only two. that report.
911.
911.
Okay, let's say you had, and I'm making this up, so you had one person who was disciplined based on, well, this is the handbook, you didn't follow the rules, okay?
Mhm.
And this other same person over here did the same thing, and they weren't disciplined.
Do you have an example of that
No.
situation?
No, I'm just saying, there has to be some consistency.
I totally
We
agree.
are, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Now,
Hang on.
we are consistent.
We are consistent across the departments that we have authority over.
That's the reason I chose two
We-
departments.
We had, I want to make a statement here.
Sure.
And address some of these things that Mr. Bomar just accused us of. I've been on this board for over 4 years. We have tried to be the most bipartisan board that we could be. We have investigated everything that need to be investigated. But just because somebody is unhappy with the way things are going, doesn't necessarily mean that the county needs to spend $30,000 to investigate it with another entity. That means we can investigate it within ourselves. We have over 200 people that we employ in this county. If we investigate every little complaint, guys, you wouldn't have roads, you wouldn't have lights, you wouldn't have a building, you wouldn't have.
And some complaints are dealt with at the department head level.
Yeah,
Right.
and that's why we have department heads.
Yeah.
We hire department heads and we put them in place so we don't have to deal with the everyday employee complaints.
Like
It's delegation.
yeah, and our handbook says that they're, there to deal with them. I would say the majority of circumstances that directly involve commissioners are situations which are either so severe that they necessitate us getting directly involved, or two, involve a situation where there is a complaint about somebody who is in the chain of command. And we take affirmative protective steps to remove that chain of command person who's been complained on from the decision-making process. And then we step in, where otherwise it would be the department head who would normally be making the calls. Okay. So, I think there's a pretty procedurally consistent process that's been followed since I've been here in every single circumstance. And again, I think that for every complaint that is written down, some of the complaints may have been like simultaneous with one another, and therefore we address them at the same time. But you might be able to even, first off, we don't make those complaints public. We don't always make our employment decisions public. We don't always make our personnel decisions public. Some of them would have to be, like if we terminated somebody for cause, right? Or did a suspension, those could be made public. But, the other thing is we got a lot of public servants here who, though they maybe feel a call to work in public service, didn't, sign up to have their entire employment history broadcasted across, YouTube. So we try to respect the confidentiality of certain situations when it's appropriate. But
Zach, do I understand this right? When people's got a complaint, I'm talking a legitimate complaint, that complaint is supposed to start at our HR person.
correct.
Somebody runs Randy down at Walmart and says, here's what,
Yeah.
you shouldn't even address that.
Well,
until
let's
it
kind of
starts.
distinguish
Exactly.
between different complaints, because this kind of brings up an interesting point where you said, if you got a problem, go to the commissioners.
That's common.
If you got a problem out in the county,
Well-
right, your roads are messed up,
Yes.
But people don't differentiate between that.
I can understand why the advice is, in that circumstance, go to your commissioner, right? You got a problem out in the county, but you got an employment problem with something that's going on in the workplace and you're an employee of this county. Yes, she is the first stopping point.
And I'm gonna say, so one thing I've learned the last 2.5 years, people will come and just tell you anything. But when it comes time to put it on a piece of paper, they don't exactly want to do that. So that, to me, that piece
That's
of
where it needs
paper,
to die then.
that's what I think. That piece of paper is like, how invested are you in your complaint? Do you really feel that way, or do you think, man, maybe it's not that big a deal?
Or again, maybe it's a situation that you go to your supervisor, your direct supervisor, who's on the ground every day, knows what's going on, or has a better idea of the facts and circumstances going on. And you can address it at that level without having to, make an official complaint at us. Maybe you make it informally and you get your resolution that way. But, and the truth of the matter is, we're not gonna know about those times. Because they don't, unless Kevin gets up here and tells the full board, we're just not gonna hear about it.
Yeah, and anytime something has ever been brought to me, I've always encouraged people to fill out a complaint form. Go see Jennifer, fill that out. That way it can get in front of us. And we can look through.
Yeah.
And with our attorney, with HR. Does that warrant the next step? Does that warrant us spending additional funds for that? Maybe. I don't know. But again, it
I think if
starts
we
through
went to
the
the-
process
Yeah.
that I'm talking about.
I think if we went to the county council right now and asked them for, $50,000 worth of funds to investigate a bunch of different complaints, we probably would not make a lot of people very happy.
We couldn't do it.
And Johnny, I'm just,
But
Mr. Bomar started off, he went on Facebook. He thought if he become a commissioner, he'd have all this power. The problem here is a commissioner don't have that much power. Now, together, we do. And the second thing, he goes on here that he leads people to believe that he wants everybody to come to him for a complaint. So what is he saying? What he's saying is, come to me and let's bypass all the directors in the county and I'll take care of it. That's not his job. And we are not going to, for me, Greg's got his own mind. But for me, I am not going to bypass a director because I'll be honest with you, every director and stuff that we've hired, we put great thought in before we put them in that position. So I'm going to support them. I'm not going to cut their legs out from underneath because to be quite honest with you, we've got enough going on. I don't need to sit here and try to direct 200 people. I don't have time to do that. We have real issues in this county. And I'm not saying that somebody, some of our employees don't consider their problems real issues, but they have a director to go to. It's just like, Wayne, you used to be a supervisor and I know, if every time somebody came to you with a problem and it was something that was going to be detrimental to something, and they went to the plant manager, why do they need you, right? Okay, so that's the one thing. And the other thing I want to address real quick.
There's always a chain of command.
There is. And the other thing I want to address is he made this statement that he wants full transparency. Okay. And then he hired, let's throw my thing in the trash can for a minute so I get everybody's attention and I'm grandstanding. All right, well, here's full transparency. He's upset. The comment he made was that we did not give the one person who works here but a half-hour interview.
Larry,
Randy,
we're not going to talk about what went on in the
I'm not. Just let me finish out.
Okay.
Here's the situation. The situation is we've known this person for all these years.
Can I just
Randy,
say something?
That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay.
So you have a different,
Okay.
you have a different
So when
purpose when you bring in other people. You're getting to know them. You're trying to, establish what they know. You have questions. You don't know who they are. You're trying to get to know. So a conversation that you're going to have with a person that you do know compared to somebody you don't know is going to be two different lengths.
Okay.
Correct? Is that not a true statement?
I'm not
All
going
right.
to speak on what happened.
Okay. All right. But now, and the other thing,
I'm the one who did the scheduling. Would it be a problem if I explained anything about the scheduling that day?
no,
It doesn't matter.
no.
I just,
But the other
I
thing,
think
he
we're
wants
getting-
Like the
transparency.
idea about this.
He wants transparency. He can sue me or he can do whatever he wants to. But the person he's bringing up,
Randy,
well, is somebody he drinks with, somebody he
Randy.
hangs with, somebody he parties with.
Randy, you need to stop.
Well,
I'm telling you.
I'm gonna buy Zach a
Please.
ruler.
We're talking about transparency.
I just want to say this. I mean, I'm very disappointed once again of the low bar of professionalism that we've set. I sat in a lot of meetings, whether it's city, county, and my new role.
It's embarrassing.
It is. It's just, it's absolutely embarrassing. And the things that we get kind of caught up in, not to say that there's not a level of importance with anything, but we've got to get into managing this county more effectively. I know, Johnny knows. I mean, I spend a lot of my time, meeting with contractors and developers and trying to figure out how we move this county forward. Those are the things that we never do in here at the regular board. People ask me all the time about the county, and I tell them the exact same thing all the time. I say, you need to just pray for the county. And I always tell people over these last handful of months, it's like, hey, all I can tell you is when you go vote, make sure you do your homework, okay? That's with all of us, okay? Myself included. And because, there is a very low bar of professionalism that's been met. So quite frankly, there's a tremendous amount of things that I want to say that I'm not going to. So I'm kind of done. Zach, I'll pass that off for you tonight.
Yeah.
To close this out so we can.
So,
Before I end up in jail.
So, when I first came to the county, she's probably gonna be mad at me if I say this, but Tammy Johnson gave me this handbook. Okay, so and it's not like an employment handbook. This is put out by the Association of Indiana Counties. I think they do a publication maybe yearly. This is the 2021 edition. I still have it. I keep it in my bag. It's not going to go into depth about a lot of things because it can't in such a short period of time. But I think, if people are looking for like, how does county government function from a process standpoint, and what are the different dispersed powers amongst all these different groups, and what are they supposed to be doing? This is usually a good place to start because they've compiled a lot of information about the history of the home rule statute and where that came from, and then going into specifics on what we do. And when you look at the executive functions, there's a delineation for what the county commissioners do. Despite having a wide range of authority, these are the important powers as it relates to what at least what this organization is saying is important. Auditing and authorizing claims against the county, receiving bids and authorizing contracts, controlling, maintaining, supervising county property, including courthouses, jails, and public offices, supervising construction and maintenance of county-owned roads and bridges, exercising appointed powers to include both the selection of members to fill positions on boards, commissions, and committees, and the appointment of certain department heads, planning and implementing strategies for solid waste handling as members of solid waste districts, serve on the county board of finance, serve on the county drainage board with the county surveyor. Okay, there's not a ton of, despite the assumption that because we're the most visible a lot of times, and maybe just as visible as the council, but there's less of us, there's this theory that that as the executives, we have all this power over every aspect of county government. And I think if we did, things would run a lot differently, because we would have different, opinions than some of the office holders that are currently in there, but the other point of this book is to make everybody understand their role so that they can work cooperatively together. I know that there are differing opinions, and you know, we have to work with other groups that, or other elected officials that we don't always agree with on every single point to try to get things done. My point being, if we could control everything, we would just do it right from this room at all times, and we don't. You know, it's no secret that the county council has told us no, you know, a number of times on funding questions, you know, over ARPA stuff over the course of years. I mean, if we could have just forced those things through, we would have done it. My point being, again, there are specific things that we have control over and things we just don't. We've kind of gone over what we believe the proper process to be here. And I think that, you know, at least from the discipline side, we follow that. We've done it every single time that there is a written complaint submitted. Again, that doesn't always mean that we resolve the situation to the satisfaction of that particular employee that has made the complaint, but I doubt every employer in the United States resolves every single employee complaint to the satisfaction of their employees. So, you know, I think we do a pretty good job. So,
And Zach, that guide is a great reference to what elected officials
and I've burned
responsibilities are.
I've burned this thing.
And I know
out.
it's
So,
old. I think
it's-
I have an updated version of that, but
I mean, it's-
obviously.
Is it on the website?
I don't know if it is.
I don't know.
I don't know. I picked mine up, I think at a conference or something.
But the Association of Indiana Counties is a, you know, reputable.
I'm gonna see if we can get them put on the website.
Guys,
I'm like,
every board in this county packs a heavy burden with stuff that, just like what Randy was wanting to say, you pack a heavy burden of stuff that just because you know it don't mean you can say it. I didn't mean to holler at you a while ago, but
I'm fine.
guys, this is a burden. It is.
well, you know,
This board has worked very hard in the past, and we have accomplished a lot in 4 years that we've been in here, and the 2 years you've been
and
here.
I'll piggyback on that. Yes, because, and even the boards that we appoint members to, we try to appoint the best people. Republican, Democrat, whatever. We've tried to appoint the best people to make the biggest inroads, because a lot of these moving and shaking that gets done comes from these boards, these committees that we have put together. And these people do tremendous work. You know, I look at redevelopment, area plan. We've got a lot of great boards that do a lot of things. Even some of the boards that don't get a lot of the notoriety are meeting and making tough decisions all the time, and we appreciate them, and we appreciate the folks that, you know, are taking time away from their families and their night to do that. But, you know, and so I kind of look at us being a little more diverse as a county as far as the boards that we put in place and the good things that they're doing. And I just want to thank everybody for doing that, but that's all I got.
We have to have the boards to take some of the burden. That's why we have the boards instead of the commissioners and the council doing everything. We appoint boards to take some of that burden off of us.
That's right. And the decisions that are being made on these boards are difficult decisions. Just as tough as me sitting in here and the commissioners, maybe more so sometimes. Some of them are tougher decisions on these boards that, area planning, from the zoning board, from redevelopment, from drainage to whatever. You know, so,
I'm gonna stand up for Beaumont for just a minute, guys. I believe his heart's in the right place. I swear that he just goes about some things I don't understand, but I do believe his heart's in the right place.
Well, his heart might be in the right place, but he sure does demand a lot of attention, and that's good. So far, that's exactly only thing that I see that he wants. I mean, because he's yet to prove anything that he's brought up.
Well, his heart's in the right place, I think.
I'm not saying it's not. You know, I don't know.
Just a lot of that stuff's not our or your place.
Yeah, I mean,
Purvey there.
you know, we're not trying to be here to just like destroy any ability to,
Right.
work with each other. Because the truth is, we're gonna have to work with each other. We're gonna be in meetings again together, so I don't know.
Well,
So, there's no, we'll move past this and, just try to keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah, I said enough.
Yeah, I'm
Could,
just-
we got a motion on the table to close the meeting?
I'm gonna make a motion to
Yeah.
close.
You
it
can't make a
unanimous.
motion.
I'm not a part of the board.
So I'll make it unanimous for closing.
On the separate way. Says we're off.